everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. In today's episode, I got my guy, Ryan Goodman, in the building. Ryan, what's going on, bro?
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I was binging these last night, and it was great just hearing everyone's experience and journey. So very happy to be here.
Oh, cool, man. Well, thanks for taking time out of your day to be on and giving me 10 minutes to talk about your journey. So we've done a number of these. Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, everyone. Ryan Goodman. So been in the space of data sense making for 20 plus years. I'll probably say that for the next 10. Been at it a while. I've worn pretty much every hat, from analyst to BI engineer to entrepreneur to product to VP of data and analytics, buying and managing and running a team. But I can definitely say that the entire career in data sense making, it doesn't feel like a job because I truly love it, right? The art of taking knowledge and turning it into, the art of taking data and turning knowledge is like my true passion and love. So it's been a ton of fun doing it.
Love it, love it. So talking about being an analyst all the way to C-suite to even product and SaaS and, all these terminologies, right, that are out there. But thinking about that, we all had to get our start at one point. So what really compelled you to get into data to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, so because I started long enough ago, you kind of fall into it. So I started like everyone as an analyst in Excel. That's pretty much where everyone gets their start, unless if they took a technology track or a finance track, and then they found themselves in BI because they love turning data into information. But started as a data analyst. Someone or a former leader put this book in front of me, the visual display of quantitative information, the Tufte book, and that kind of changed everything for me as far as visualizing descriptive statistics. And so my journey took me actually into technology at a startup that was building dashboards and data visualization, and this is kind of like pre-Tableau. And so that company it was called Excelsius. It was acquired by Business Objects. So I went from being a practitioner to running around, globetrotting around the world, like explaining like, hey, this is what is a dashboard? This is a dashboard. This is why it's going to change everything. And so that gave me the opportunity on the technology side to drop into a ton of massive enterprises at Business Objects. And so you do it long enough, you get to see what success looks like. You also get to see what failure looks like. And I took that experience, spun that off. I ran my own boutique analytics consulting company, turned product company, was building extensions for data viz. Wound that company down, and that led me back to being where I started, which was building and implementing and analyzing data. I purposefully started at an individual contributor role to take a break from entrepreneurship, and couldn't help myself. I ended up as a VP of data and analytics and built a team and built our strategy and had to live with the good and bad decisions when you build in strategy and you execute over multiple years. And then I went back to consulting about a year and a half ago, and have a couple of startups that I'm running. So yeah, I don't really sleep much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm having a hell of a time doing it.
Doing a lot. So definitely acquired leadership, entrepreneur, picking up, seeing where the market is. Let me go do this. And then, all right, want to get back into it and do my own thing. I love it. I love the journey, man. People need to hear that. People need to hear more of that. They don't need to see just the bullet points on LinkedIn or whatever. They need to hear the totality of it all, like why everything connects. So that's phenomenal, man. Hey, I learned something new about you, Ryan. That's cool, man. That's super cool. All right. So the context of this question is, as I mentioned, that more people need to hear the totality of a human being and stuff. So thinking about this in the viewpoint of it being like in high school, I was a concession stand worker and I hated that piece, or I work construction, right? So thinking about that, what's been your least favorite job to date that you ever had, and why did you dislike it?
Oh man, I worked at TJ Maxx, where working the customer returns and customer service, and talk about getting used to being treated or yelled at, or being put into like really awkward situations, uh, it makes everything I do now feels easy compared to that, right? And also, you know, uh, you get to see all walks of life and experience, and I knew doing that job that I was not cut out to do retail.
Yeah.
So, but as far as like perfecting your customer service skills, dealing with angry folks who are angry, redirecting, like all of those skills are applicable today.
I tell you what, like my first job was Finish Line and it was retail experience, right? Selling shoes, customer experience, what's the not margin, inventory. So understanding inventory coming in and out, logistics, so on and so forth. I kid you not, there's skills that I learned at 17 when it comes to interacting with human beings that I still leverage today. Understanding temperament. Are they having a good day, bad day? Why are they upset? Why are you frustrated? Root cause of why you're returning this. Why are you mad? Like there's still things that I leverage today, every single day.
When I have to deal with data quality, I relate that back to TJ Maxx, where at the end of the day, I had to go and we all had to like fold the towels that someone took off the shelf and put on the floor. So every day you had to go and redo the same. And like some of the data quality stuff that we do today, where you're having to like re-explain or rework, like until you have to fold towels every day, like, this is easy. It's not that hard.
Exactly. Love that. Love that. All right. So there's a philosophy I live by and I try and implement it on the show when I talk to different people. Is the concept is failing forward, right? So you never really fail. Everything is an experience. You always pick it up. So thinking about that in context, what's been your biggest failure in career and what you really learn from that experience?
Yeah, no, failing, I love that, failing forward. And I listen to other folks talk about this. And I think you hear and you read about failing and learning how to fail. A big part of failure is understanding what went wrong, and how do you adjust, and how do you not fail at the same mistake over again. I think that I've had a couple of really big ones. I have a seven-figure oopsie. And so every failure after that is felt not that bad. That's more for an over beers conversation, what went wrong. But I think other than that one, and it happened early in my career, the biggest one was, I think, more as an entrepreneur, and I was on another podcast talking about this. Is that you read a lot of people read a lot of TechCrunch. They hear about the big wins, the big exits, a lot of folks who are starting their own companies or freelancing or building tech companies. We all read that stuff, and that's what you want. You want the big exit, the big win. I ran a software company for 10 years, and we didn't get the big win. And we worked really hard, and we put a lot of time. We put a lot of money in, but we didn't get that big win. And so that was, I still consider that a failure. I would, you learn about the things that you don't want to do over again. But that's a big part of evolving, is understanding you set goals. You always set goals. You set wildly audacious goals, and you measure your progress against them. And I think if you don't hit those goals, you don't achieve what you want to do. Um, you shouldn't be ashamed to call that a failure. Failure is a bad word. It's a good motivator. You don't want you like It's a good motivator for some people, but it shouldn't cause physical stress.
Right.
So that's a big learning, that I've had over time.
I love that. And I love that, again, more people don't talk about this, right? You're an entrepreneur, you didn't get the big win that you felt like that was there, and there's a journey. But I can almost guarantee that the person you were when you started your company versus whenever you decided, that, I need to pivot, you grew so much in that experience that there's no failure through that process at all.
No, no, not a, at the end of the day, we did very well.
Yeah.
We made quite a bit of money. More important than making the money, we helped hundreds of enterprises achieve the goal. Like, we build product and services to help them achieve a goal. We were wildly successful in that regard. We got to the table, to get a big win, and we doubled down on ourselves. We said no to an exit and we doubled down. So that's like kind of the failure
Yeah.
part of it. But once again, you learn from that and you carry that forward.
Love that. Love that. I don't know, this is me being, just observant of society, and I wish more people would articulate that. Like, providing a service, creating a product, and actually helping your customers is such a big win. Like, it's not all about the headlines and the different things that you see. Like, being able to do what you say you're going to do while you're going to do it is such a huge win that doesn't get the likes or the engagement or, the different things that you might see online. And it's just something that I'm really passionate about. So hearing this all, it makes me excited. So thanks for being transparent on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, here's the thing: if you're going to build a company or a service, the thing that should excite you or get you up in the morning is, like, for me, it's when a customer takes something that I've built or created or a product, whatever it is, and then they share back to me how they've used it, and even better, if they've used it in a way I didn't even think about or anticipate, and they're telling me how it, like, that is really, like, if that's what excites you, then you're in the right space.
Love that. Love that. All right. So thinking about this, my target audience are people who are just starting out in their career or they're pivoting into data and the tech. So thinking about that, what's one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out?
Just remember, there's always, even if you're starting out, as you progress forward, there's always somebody behind you just starting out. And so whether it be like what you're doing here with this podcast, right? You're taking people that have been doing it for 20 years, for however many years, and we're sharing this experience. So someone who's just starting out, you're learning, you're acquiring new skills, you're figuring it out. As you learn, share that, right? Maybe you have imposter syndrome, maybe you're like, oh, I'm just a newbie. But when you reach the other end of learning something new or figuring something out, your instinct should be to share it on LinkedIn. Like, you'll have tons of people here to kind of like cheer you on, your coworkers, your colleagues. And if you're starting out, there's tons of other people also just starting out. And so your instinct should be to like share and pay it forward, because there's always someone coming behind you, also just starting out, wanting to learn. So that would be my recommendation. Start a blog, post a LinkedIn, because if you're just starting out, that body of knowledge is just going to accumulate over a long period of time. And if you're looking at this podcast or you're looking at LinkedIn, you're like, man, I want to be like Siku, I want to be like whoever on this podcast. All of us start in the same place of, hey, we've learned some things. Our first instinct is to share that. So if you want to follow in that footstep, you're creating a portfolio, and that will set you aside from everybody else. If you're looking at it the other way of like, how do I stand out or compete or win jobs? That's the best place to start.
Love it. Love it. I feel like we all have a responsibility to learn and to give back and to share, no matter what stage we're at. Like, we're always going to be continuous learning, but you have to give back. So fantastic advice, man. This conversation is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite ones for sure. And I'm saying that on the recording. This is one of my favorite ones.
I binge watch these, so I know you did say that a bunch of times. So I really did binge watch these.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right, Ryan, where can listeners find you at online?
LinkedIn. For better or worse, LinkedIn is my stream of consciousness, of exactly what I just said. I live it. So LinkedIn's the best place to find me, reach out, DM me, and then you can see all the projects and fun stuff that I work on.
Love it. Love it. You're doing a million things, man. Ryan, thank you so much for taking time out today. This was great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. And as I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Have a great day.